The Trump administration is apparently so desperate to convince people that their immigration policy is anything other than an evil and barbaric mess, and especially desperate to juice the supposed numbers of these migrants they've deported so they can pretend that it's a bunch of, murderers and cannibals and all of that stuff. It's not, but they just want big numbers. So they've come up with what just might be the stupidest waste of money and waste of time, waste of psychic energy to make themselves feel good about mass deportation. And here it is. They're gonna be deploying tons of additional DHS and ICE officers to border crossings, not to stop people sneaking in, but to stop migrants self-deporting. So rather than just let them leave, which they say is the thing they want to happen, they're instead gonna seize them and put them through proceedings that's gonna take tons of time and cost tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars. It's already incredibly expensive, and they found a way to make it more expensive. Now, why would you do that? I mean, you could just let them go. It's because then it doesn't like appear on a chart, and line has to go up. This is so stupid. Okay, under this plan, they're gonna have ICE work with Customs and Border Patrol officers in targeted operations at land ports along the southern border. They would arrest people attempting to self-remove after being in the US without legal authorization. Agents would target commercial buses passing through ports of entry into Mexico, according to the plan document, which was labeled sensitive. Seems more like it should be labeled insensitive, but maybe that's just me being woke. Anyway, this is literally just a bunch of people on a bus. Maybe one or two of them are undocumented. And you're gonna hold up everybody's time and stop them from leaving so you can instead arrest them. This is how stupid and self-sabotaging and moronic and such a waste of money this mass deportation policy is. It's a wonder that so many people have turned against it. Now, because everything that this administration does has to have a stupid name applied to it, they've apparently tentatively named the effort Operation Irish Goodbye, a reference to the act of slipping out of a bar or party without bidding farewell to your friends. Again, like, the idea is what? The idea is what, that you're clever? Is that supposed to be clever? Again, is that supposed to distract us from the fact that this is a waste of time and money, that this is gonna make travel across the border inconvenient for literally everyone, whether they're undocumented or a goddamn United States citizen? That especially around the holidays when everybody is already bound up too much at these ports of entry at airports and all of that, you're gonna somehow find a way to make everything take a little bit longer so that you can stop someone from leaving the thing that you say you want them to do. You've even produced ads. You spent $50, $100 million producing ads telling people to self-deport, and now when they finally do it, you're instead gonna arrest them, but it's clever because it's Operation Irish Goodbye. It's a great government we've got here. In any event, their webpage on the so-called self-deportation process urges those who aren't here legally to leave on your own initiative. If you're illegally present in the US, you don't have to and shouldn't wait for ICE officials to arrest you. Instead, you can leave on your own terms. I guess they cut off the psych at the bottom of that because no, you actually can't leave on your own terms. That would be too simple. I don't even like that, but at least that would be the system you set up working. Nope, it's gotta be a little bit more dehumanizing and a whole lot dumber and more expensive. Because importantly, this money goes somewhere, lots of it, sure, some of it is being spent on these officers, a lot of it goes to contractors and all of that stuff. And so massive, massive waste of money. And by the way, we've done a lot of coverage throughout this year on mass deportation, and it's all been stupid. It's all been a massive waste of time. But I thought it would be interesting if we just briefly acknowledge the end state of all of it. So what have they done with all of this? Okay, banging down the doors, throwing the flashbangs into people's apartments, tear gas, and all the protests and the counter protests and the demonizing people and all that stuff. At the end of the year, they expect that they will have deported nearly 600,000 people. Joe Biden in 2024 deported 685,000 people. Now, It's not exactly the same thing because like with Obama, the vast majority of the deportations that were happening were from like the band of land right along the border. These are people that they're caught right when they're crossing, whereas Donald Trump is doing more of hunting down people, that are in the center of America that have been here for years, if not decades. So it's a lot stupider than what Joe Biden was doing. But even then, after all of this and spending a mountain of your tax dollars, they're not even gonna match what Joe Biden did in 2024. And importantly, no matter how high these numbers get, the deportations are not what they've made them out to be. I'll remind you, in Washington, D.C., remember, they invaded, they cowed the city, they put their boot on its neck. 84% of those arrested by ICE have faced no criminal charges in the US. 2% have a conviction for a violent crime. That's lower than chance. That's like lower than random frickin' chance. And again, it's a reminder, by the way, what have we always said about migrants here in the United States? What is the inconvenient fact that any conservative would rather die than acknowledge? That these migrants commit crimes at lower rates than native-born Americans. And not because, they're just made of better stuff or whatever. It's because they're terrified of being caught and deported, so they tend to be on good behavior. That's just how it works. Not how I say it should work, not how hypothetically it works, how the stats have proven it works over many, many years, and this is yet more evidence of that. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I think we should take our second. No, we'll continue. Okay, we'll continue on. I have a bad read for what we're doing. We're gonna continue on with related news. In fact, maybe this will be a bit of a disgusting palate cleanser. Let's jump into this. DHS and ICE, they have a real problem. The entire mass deportation policy has been built on an absolute foundation of lies about who these migrants are, what they're doing in America. Really, they've tried to convince people that breaking up families, stripping people out of communities that they've worked in, lived in for years or decades, built relationships on, multi-generational things, all of that, that somehow, if you do that, and if you do that enough, and if you put enough money into it, that'll fix everybody's problems. The right has tried to message that sometimes in sophisticated ways, sometimes like with Benny Johnson, I think they literally just say that every problem in your life is caused by undocumented migrants or whatever. But the issue with that is that's not how it works, because it can't be how it works. And people are waking up to that, and the polls are turning against Donald Trump on immigration as they are on every other policy. And so, their base is getting a little bit antsy. This was supposed to be the cure-all. This was supposed to solve societal problems. This was supposed to solve the problems of them, like once seeing a person from Honduras or whatever, all these big problems that they have. But it hasn't solved those problems. It hasn't solved their economic problems. It's not leading to more jobs, not leading to the price of homes coming down. And so what do you do like when your base is getting antsy? Well, they're gonna do the only thing they ever think to do, memes. And somehow that's gonna right the ship. So Homeland Security on Twitter put out this one, you see? They used AI to put lights on a person or something in Santa hats, and it says, "You're going ho ho home," because Christmas or something. Does that make you feel better? Not you in the audience, obviously it's not going to. It's grotesque. But like if you're a MAGA person, you clicked on this video and like you're typing something about me being like a woke commie scum or something, just pause for a second in that comment and you tell me, does that solve your family's problems? Your economic problems, your problems with getting a good job, buying a home, your kids going to school, you paying for your health insurance. Is it better because they have hats on? And why are all of their memes about just putting a hat on a thing? Is this not getting a little bit repetitive to anybody? That's not all they did though. They also did this. This is literally a thing that the Department of Homeland Security put out. It's a GIF in the form they did, and it's just Trump with a hat on. Again, you have to put a hat on everything, and he's dancing. That one doesn't even have words. There's not a migrant in the video. There's nothing about deportation. It's literally, why is he Santa? What does that have to do with anything? I don't know. The issue is that Homeland Security, for as much as I hate the leadership of it, and as much as I hate, even down to the level of whichever intern posted this stuff, I hate your guts. I want to be clear about that. But they are in a difficult position. Let's acknowledge that. Let's use the empathy we have that they're incapable of. Because What else do they do? Again, they have to deport people, and it's not solving problems, and it's costing a bunch of money. They can't change the policy. They're not gonna change the policy. And they have to message, but like, who are they messaging to? That was put out on Twitter. It's a cesspool. That crappy intern, that horrible, immoral intern or whatever, they know that. So what, are they gonna do something like, I don't know, sophisticated, substantive, policy-based, compassionate? How's that gonna work? Is that gonna get you the retweets? The algorithm will bury that. So you gotta do something. And also, most of this messaging is for Donald Trump. So yeah, it makes no logical, rational sense to put him as Santa, but that's kind of what he wants to see. And then you got this, and it's another GIF. It's this guy with one hand visible, one hand on a mouse, scrolling through photos of male undocumented immigrants. And like, he's not explicitly masturbating, but the entire thing has such a jacking off energy. And I don't get what, like, okay, I know that some of the guys on your side, that like, I don't want to kink shame. Okay, historically we don't kink shame or whatever, but why post it though? Couldn't you just jack off? I don't get it. Okay, again, kink shaming, I understand some people, they wanna like bring other people in, even non-consensually, which is where it gets into a gray area that I'm not super comfortable with, and they want you to be a part of their thing. But like, you can just look at the pictures of the guys. I'm sure some of them are handsome. I'm not downing on you for that, or I just don't get it necessarily. One thing I do get though, and I'll end on this, is this post from Homeland Security. I was on their thing, so I just kept scrolling. It's a post about secure America's future. And that's, for normal people, that's a strange thing to say, right? But if you've been paying attention to American politics, do you know why they worded it that way? Anybody in the chat? Why did they say secure America's future? Not like protect our borders or even deport the brownies or whatever, disgusting stuff they would say. Why secure America's future? It's because of the 14 words. It's, we must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children. That's literally all that they're referencing right there. But we're crazy for calling them racists or Nazis or fascists or whatever. They're literally trying to message to the Nazis online with their little posts. Great job. Oh, very Christian, by the way.